So I'd now like to call upon and welcome Andrew Howell from Hudson Civil Products. Again, quite a shift in topic and view, and he's going to talk to us this morning about challenges and opportunities in the water sector and as the water sector transitions in Tasmania from an industry perspective. So, Andrew, thank you.
Play. Thanks. Just the big green button. Thank you very much, Tim. It's some fantastic presentations. As you said, mine might be a little bit different, perhaps a bit lowbrow compared to some of the high-end stuff that we're talking about. And there's some real challenges that we talked about this morning. Great to hear some of that perspective. I took quite a bit away from some of those. I noted that Carmel said it was wonderful to be Tasmanian, and I couldn't agree more. I've just spent 3 weeks in Queensland where the weather was great, but there's something about coming back to Tasmania and how special it is and what we value. We're all in this together is a little note I've got later on. Hudson Civil Products, I'll talk a bit more about them and about myself and what my background is, but as part of the industry, we work very closely with TasWater, with DSG, with TasPorts, with Tas Irrigation, with private clients. Everyone that I know that is Tasmanian values what it is about Tasmania, about our environment, about the quality of our water and our land and sometimes our weather. This time of year, driving down through Ross at -4, that was questionable, but I still appreciate it. And I noted quite a few of the speakers value those things as well. I heard Jess talk about the diving and the bushwalking that she loves to do here. Some of our speakers, Matthew and others, talked about their bike riding and their love for the environment. And I think we all come from that same perspective that we want what's best for Tasmania, and we look for the water industry and the water sector and the irrigation sectors and others. We all want to see it succeed. We want to see opportunities for young people. We want to see sustainability. We want to see development. We want to see all those things together. And I hope today's presentation gives you some feedback and some ideas that I've noted and others have noted in industry that might be useful for some across the various authorities to look at some of the things where we think there could be some things you could think about. Sustainability is a bit of a focus for us. We talked a bit about the transition that we've had, and there have been significant changes in the last 10 years. And the industry priority through that time has been on continuing to deliver cost-effective, safe, high-quality and successful projects. We want to see them succeed as much as the next person, whether that be contractors, consultants, architects, planners, developers, suppliers. A lot of the high-end stuff that we're talking about climate change and strategy and planning for the future, very important, and I'm really pleased that we've got some leaders in the field thinking about those things at our universities and our authorities. There's also a second tranche to that I see about sustainability, and that's about the here and now of what we construct for the future of this generation, our infrastructure, and how we best manage our resources, whether that be financial, physical resources, assets, and build our capacity for the future. Are we building a resilient industry? Are we building someone that can sustain us going forward? And we've got a few project images of some of the things across some of the sectors as we go through. We've probably learned a bit about that. Like I said, we talk to lots of people in the industry, and we have a unique perspective in some of those areas. The key themes that keep coming up are about people looking for value, looking for quality, looking for consistency of delivery, and for communication is a really big one across the industry. How can we help each other? Where are the issues? What are some of the things that we need to look at to work together? And that communication is a really big one. Today we're talking about some feedback and things that we might be able to give you, and hopefully that's constructive. It's presented in the way that we'd like to think about what you could do differently, or what you could change, or what you might not want to, or why you're doing some things. Tell me afterwards why those things are as they are. So to give you a bit of an idea where I'm coming from, Hudson Civil Products, many of you may know us, but we've been in the industry for 40 years. We're a Tasmanian family-owned business. And we're an industry leader and supplier of choice. We've constructed or assisted with the construction and supply across many different projects, the irrigation schemes, the Duck, the South East, the Scottsdale, the North East, the Midlands, the Southern Highlands, Milford, and many of the early TIS schemes across the Quamby and Meander schemes as well that were constructed across those. TasWater, DSG, a lot of the DSG projects, But Taswater in particular, the Kingra Sewerage Scheme, Small Towns Water Supply, Epping Forest, Kanara, Lilydale Pipeline, the pipeline to Cressy and Longford, treatment plants at Longford, the Margate Pipeline, Derwent Pipelines, a range of projects. We're across all of those, Tasports, private clients. And we really see ourselves as a key partner in project delivery and working with our clients collaboratively around some of those things. We call ourselves enablers or facilitators a lot of the time, and we offer those solutions to work through with people. When we work with developers and contractors and consultants, often we assist through the procurement management of the process, so not just selling them a product, but actually working with what are your real needs, what are the solutions you need to look for, what can we do differently, what can we offer that you need as an industry or as a contractor or a consultant that you could see being beneficial to you. We do the take-offs and quantity surveying for people, because a lot of those skills have been lost in contractors. I think sometimes people forget that as an industry, we have had a lot of capacity for some of our background over time, but some of those things are starting to diminish. So the industry skills are stretched thin. They are reducing over time. So we need to fill some of that void. Other than Hudson Civil being a major supplier, my background personally covers a few areas. I started in local government in northern Tasmania nearly 20 years ago, and worked in consultancy across a couple of stints. Also in private industry through Hudson Civil and for contractors as well. I've been involved in a range of Taswater and precursor projects, as well as the Tas irrigation projects, in various guises, at the design level, at the procurement level, at the supply level, or at the construction level, working for a range of clients. And in some ways, that's given me a wide network and an area that perhaps gives some different perspectives on lots of different things about what some of the drivers are for why people do things. What are the limitations on an authority and the reasons why they can do something or they can't do something, or the process that they go through? Where does a contractor see risk? Why does he see the risk? Why have you made that risk worse for him? Those things are a really valued skill, and there's a number of people in the industry that have got those skills, but it gives you a different perspective about some of those drivers. I really like what Jess said about being a transdisciplinary communicator. I'm not sure if I've got that exactly right, but the ability to talk to different groups and understand where they're coming from, but also explain things, whether it's around the council table or to your board or to your senior managers. How do you distill that information that you've got and explain what the issues really are? I think that's a really good skill, and I'd like to think that I'm going some way towards providing some of that. So to give you a bit of background on the industry situation, you may have been reading in recent times about many of the post-election commitments on the mainland, and the current workload alone. The industry is booming. Victoria is out of control. There have been real issues, and that's impacted on Tasmania as well. Our building industry here and our civil construction industry has many challenges. Through the past period, there have been cement shortages, Rio shortages, reinforcing's been taking 8 to 10 weeks to arrive from the mainland. There's capacity issues around that. Not to mention the issues around contractors and the availability of workforce and resources. Think about the Tasmanian market versus a Sydney market or a Queensland market. We're tiny. Are we a priority for those companies, and how do we get our fair share of resources and skilled professionals to come here? Those challenges have been realised right now. All industry sectors are facing these talent challenges. Councils have noted the issue with a lack of tenderers pricing their work. They're struggling to get people to look at their projects. The pool of people that they've got available to them is not of the quality or the type or the experience that they might want. And all of those sectors like DSG and Tasports and Taswater will probably face some of these things as we go. Tasports have just had a serious industry consultation period, for anyone that might have seen that advertised, where they're really trying to engage and collaborate with their suppliers, with their contractors, with their service personnel, to make sure that they've got those skills. How do we build the industry capacity? How can they better offer those skills? So yeah, these comments cover all of these industries that we work with and work in. So some of the observations that we've got, we've seen a lot of transition. We went from our council period right through to the 3 regional authorities in Taswater. We went to our statewide group, and we've seen some restructures through that period. Tas irrigation has been an evolving industry as well. They've gone from their original Rivers and Water Supply Commission, some of the early TIS works, and through a range of different structural periods through people and transitions. It has been a really tricky time for industry. those transitions always come with challenges. It takes a while for things to bed in, for companies and organisations and authorities to get their processes back in place and all be on the same page. Perhaps today might give you some understanding from an industry perspective and my observations about some of the issues that, taken on board, might give you the capacity to engage with industry and understand where they're coming from. The key points we're going to cover: consistency in timing, understanding risks and some project drivers, and also being an informed client, asking the questions, seeking out knowledge and where you might be able to go. Tasmanian providers, we've spoken about this, are really some of the best going. Tasmania is a unique place we'll talk about further, but we're fortunate to have those quality providers. And there are time and resource issues that present challenges. We talk about some of the tier 1 contractors and other mainland companies coming down here and finding out how difficult it really is to work in Tasmania. You need to know the local infrastructure. You need to have some local contacts. Local options and issues are important for some of those things. And the most successful ones are where people have engaged with the local community and sought out that knowledge up front. Contractors down here are busy. There's not a huge pool of contractors locally, and as I mentioned, councils have noted this in their tendering for sure. There are key people in the industry that really drive a lot of these projects. When you look at some of the major projects, particularly some of the Tas irrigation projects or the Tas water major projects that we talk about, or the DSG projects, there are key people at different stages that have made those projects successful. And those people's skills are invaluable. Maybe some of those people are approaching a different part of their career where they're approaching retirement. That is difficult for us and a real challenge. We need to build those skills in our Tasmanian providers for those people who are here for the long haul. They know about providing local value. As we mentioned, we're passionate about Tasmania. We want to provide that benefit to the industry, to the development of the state. And in the future, those people are still going to be here because they love the place. They want to be here. So yeah, unfortunate in Tasmania that historically we've had in our authorities those people that have had a lot of experience, or in our consultants, or in our contracting chain. That technical workforce, a lot of the people you talk about were either a product of Department of Main Roads, Hydro, our really strong councils, some of our larger water authorities. Others have come up and been mentored by those people or have gained skills from those people. The people like Bevan Eberhardt on the northwest coast, Ray Wright, Ray Dodson, a huge supporter of the Tasmanian industry, I think retires very shortly. Those sort of people have provided a huge grunt for the industry, and we're very lucky to have those. But that is an ageing workforce, and experienced staff are hard to find and of course retain, as you know. And so the overall result of that is a level of de-skilling. And you see that in some of our smaller councils that are really finding it challenging to provide an engineer or a draftsman or a planner or a technical officer that understands our industry, that understands our local infrastructure. Doesn't want to come in and turn Bicheno into the next Gold Coast. You know, solutions that suit locally, understand the industry and what we can afford and what's sustainable.